Welcome to this 24th of December, Christmas Eve. So yeah, let's go live. Let's give you some value here. I did ask a few of you, like I actually made a few posts, regarding the holiday weight loss blueprint, which is basically a guide, which I decided to make a video guide if I have enough engagement, or at least if somebody is gonna do a little bit of favor for me, because one of the most daunting thing, one of the most frustrating thing is like try to grow a YouTube channel or an Instagram channel, and then as much as content as you put out, there is a lot of likes, but there is no following, right? So what I would love for you to do for me, if you want an art copy of this, you basically just have to go on Instagram. I'm gonna put on the comment box the link of YouTube and Instagram, and all you have to do is really follow. And if you can do that for me, like friends, especially women, get them to follow, because obviously the best clients we have is always referral. And as a result, you just message me on Messenger. I'm just gonna basically copy the what I'm gonna read right now later, and then I'm gonna put it on a Google Doc. It's not gonna look all fancy. It's just gonna look something very useful for you to do during the holiday, because obviously we know that holiday is one of the hardest time when it comes to losing weight, and also most people gain weight. And I'll go into that in detail. But before I do that, I wanna first and foremost wish you my all best holiday. I wanna wish you Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you. I hope that you're doing fine. Let me know how you're doing in this Christmas. Personally, for me, Christmas has never been a good time. It's never been something I like necessarily, and this is not necessarily for the current year. Has always been like that. I think I've been very vocal of that in the past as well. I used to love it when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to love it because we had, there is always this idea that there is, Santa, right? In US, Santa, and in here in Switzerland, South Switzerland, we speak Italian, is, Gesù Bambino. Bambino Gesù is like, this imaginary person that comes and bring you gift, and the reality is your parents. And when I realized that was not true, I don't think Christmas has ever been the same for me. But it's always been a time that you see people try to be good, try to feel good, try to you know they always say you're gonna be better, like you're gonna be more. You have to be more good in Christmas, right? And then of course there is all this commercial gifts thing around. Yeah, it's always been tough for me. Like lately, last years is like being. I think when I was in US, right? Like I had very close people. That my ex-girlfriend was very close to me there, and then it's not about other people not making me feel like the holiday was special, but it's just like me not feeling them, right? And I don't know if that's the same for you, but Christmas has never been one of my favorite. I love New Year's Eve, meaning like it's always like this idea that something is gonna start fresh, and there is nothing better than this year starting something fresh. That is good. I hope. I honestly hope. I don't think much is gonna change, honestly, for me. But um, being very vocal of things happening recently to me, and there are gonna be a lot of decisions, important decisions to be made. Um, you saw a shift probably from like the way that I also talk, the way that I feel, the way my identity is shifted, and whether or not this whether or not things are gonna be in a certain way, like whether or not decision is gonna be like there is gonna be changes inside this program, inside the way that I also want to move this forward, because one thing I don't want to do anymore is burn myself out, like trying to making people understand the importance of getting in shape. I feel like that's very much one of the most important things to do, getting in shape, feeling good not only on the mental side, especially on the mental side, on the physical side, but also on the mental side. um, I do believe I got into a pattern, like probably the last months, that I got almost into a depression. Like, so I do believe that mental health is probably as much important, if not more important, than physical health. But one thing I don't want to do anymore because I got this in 2016 and I got this now, it's really overwork myself just to really make people change when they're not ready to change. And it's funny because a lot of people will say they are, right? And that brings me to the conversation here. If you were, chances are like you wouldn't necessarily gain more weight during the holidays. There are two times which statistics shows that are really the worst time for getting in shape, losing weight, staying in shape. Holidays time, which in US start from almost end of November with Thanksgiving. The obviously then the holiday right now, and then there is of course then um, summer, right? And the funny part is that it is not about that there is some weird food that you're eating during the holiday. Maybe there is, but it's not about that. It's about the amount of food that you shove down your throat all the time and consistently doing it. Meaning, like, you just basically say, okay, the mentality is like, we're gonna fix it in the New Year's. Then the New Year's comes around, you go very hard to a few months. Then, of course, there is usually Easter, which is 4 months apart. And then there is this backlash that, you cannot, maybe it's supposed to be only one day or two, but then it becomes like a week. And then you'll say, okay, then we have to go very hardcore during the summer, and then when you get to the summer, it's like you either in shape or you don't, or you're not in shape. Then you basically say, oh, I want to get super in shape, I'm going to do a crash diet for the summer, and then I'm going to gain, and then you gain basically everything back because summer is ending. You go back to school, kids are going back to school, and then you go back and basically like, all right, so now we need to do the harder thing. Like we need to go from September to November and go very hard on losing weight. And then you basically gain it back. The problem is that there is one huge mistake. One huge mistake is like, in one way, when you have like 3, 4, 5 kilo to lose, that's not even a bad way to do it. It's like your body is thinking like, okay, I'm gonna go on a diet for 3 months and then I'm gonna maintain. The problem is that you go on a diet for 3 months and then there is this orthorexic behavior with food. It's bad relationship, and then you basically gain more. Like you don't lose and then you go back and maintain. You basically lose and then you regain with the interest, right? And it's not even like, for most people, it's not even like, it's only like maybe 5 kilos, right? But it's the behavior and the belief, or like the sensation that you have about these kilos. You feel bad about it. Like you feel like, oh, I'm a failure. I feel guilty. I'm not supposed to eat that way. Look, everybody's gaining weight, whatever, right? For me, it's one of the, I mean, I don't know if it's something I do think, honestly, is there is some sort of like, there is a lot of thing metabolism that is not been studied and not been understood. I know that there are cycle of testosterone production, of GH production during the winters and stuff like that. I honestly think that there is some sort of a behavior towards, I mean, there is some sort of, how do you say, in the summer, for example, whether is because I work out more, because I eat and drink more, like I tend to gain a lot of weight. In the winter, I tend to lose it, well, most people gain it back. But again, holidays and summer is usually the worst times. And in fact, summer is when you also gain it back. Um, well, I would say actually both. I was gonna say something, but no, it's kind of like the same thing. You lose it and you gain it back, right? What to do in this holiday to lose it, and to lose it, or even best, let's say, best case scenario is to lose it. But even if you cannot do that, let's say how not to gain the weight, right? Which that would be already a, a win, because we know that people that start in the holiday, they usually are able to maintain at least the weight, and then they're able to gain progress during the whole year. This is why I've been being very vocal, like throughout the month of December. You probably got a message or you saw a post of me giving away the December completely for free for new sign-ups or people that need to sign up again. For me, the December completely for free, because I wanted to give you, to take away all the excuse possible you have of you not committing to something. Because if you're able to commit for free for December and commit to at least 3 months for which it usually takes to get rid of between 5 and 10 kilos, then I was gonna make this sacrifice on my hand because I'm able to then allow you to succeed. Because the problem is that a lot of people through the holidays, they're like, oh, my program is ending on November. I'm gonna start in January. The problem is that when you start in January, all this month that you have, you lost everything. So if you were in the challenge that we did, I was gonna extend that. If you just read my post, you can just move on from there. We did a Black Friday, that was gonna be the same thing. I was gonna extend that through the holiday. Some people did take it up a lot less than I thought. But again, I mean that's your choice, right? Fitness shouldn't be something that you just do go on and off in the holiday. It should be something that you do while doing the holiday, like in the holiday. Right now, I'm finishing this and I'm gonna go work out before I go and see some friends later. So let's start. Let's see what you guys can do. But first, again, the context is important. So what I would do, I would just go on my calendar, on your calendar, and I would mark off whether you are doing some sort of like tracking food or whether like you need to know how much you're eating, right? Whether you're working with me or not, you know that you're gonna be in some sort of like number of calories, and whether you're doing intuitive eating, whether you're doing tracking. You know that if you're doing intuitive eating, like let's say you're skipping breakfast, you decided to do that, and you do a balanced meal in lunch, and then you in the evening just vegetable and protein. That's probably at a roughly 12 to 1500 calories if you have some sort of a snack, right? So you don't need to count, but that's a tracking day, a day that you are really doing the work, right? Then there are days that are gonna be, and again, this is why this is what you need to take home from the holiday. It's like there is really today for most people they're gonna do a dinner. Then there is tomorrow, and then for some people the 26th. Then there is the 31, right? And then some people do the 6th of December or whatever, like or the first maybe. It's only like 5 days. You're not gonna vanificate a bunch of progress for 5 days unless you eat the whole day. Because again, if you're pulling 12,000 calories per day, those days, yeah, that's a problem. That means like you have to eat lunch, morning, evening, whatever. So the first thing that you have to take home, and this is kind of the first advice, is that if you know that you're doing a big dinner, a big lunch, or whatever, you want to skip one of the meals, and the day after, if possible, you basically going to skip the next meal, meaning like if you had the dinner in the night, in the morning you're gonna skip it, and then maybe you skip the lunch or the evening, depending on what you guys do, right? For most people, they're not gonna eat 3 meals full time. If you are, I don't know what kind of like Christmas celebration you have, but it's definitely too much food. You shouldn't be able to eat that much. So you're gonna do that, and then the day after, meaning like let's say 26th that you don't eat, you wanna probably skip most of the day, and in the evening you just do a soup or something. Because again, it's just gonna be your body thinks in weeks. So it's not like what you do. And then the day after you skip, and then the day after you go back to your regular routine. You're not gonna do some sort of restriction or fasting for 5 days, because then you're gonna create some backlashes on the metabolism and on the mindset. The other thing that you want to be doing is really this is like stop the cycle of gaining weight, right? This is like one more time, the holiday should be something you celebrate, and again, it's not about restricting yourself, it's about enjoying those days that you're gonna enjoy with a family. Enjoy it, be grateful for it, and then you just go back the day after, right? um the next um advice is enjoy the food without overeating, right? Start if possible with some sort whenever you go and you take a lunch, the meal, start with some sort of protein, chicken, lean option. Then you add on the side your vegetable, and the carbs come last, okay? The carb and the fat come last. This is very important. The other part is that you want to be indulging without guilt, okay? So 80% of the meals should be nutrient based and balance based, low calorie, high dense nutrient food. And then the other 20% should be desserts or something of that nature, right? If you want to know about low calorie dense food, you want to be going into my guides, you're gonna find a bunch of like example, right? low calorie dense high volume food is like watermelon, for example, instead of like if you just take a fruit and you get dried figs, right, or dried dates, and then you get the regular dates are more high dense inside water food. So the berries, all the fruits, right? So again, you want to be using protein and vegetable first, and again, 80%, try to make conscious choices about 80% high volume food, right? Popcorn is better than chips. um, when you get all these cakes, these cookies and all that, don't make like 80% of the food, just eat first and then you get that those things last, right? um, Another thing that you're gonna be learning is that while you cannot stop yourself from eating maybe in the holidays, you can also have the movement, right? Like I've been reducing my workout frequency and I've been heading 10, 12,000 steps a day, and it does make a difference. I lost 6 kilos inside these 2 months and I'm keeping it off. So movement does make a huge, huge difference when it comes to that, right? So if you're not able to undereat or to hold a calorie, at least try to move more in those days, particularly, right? Um, and again, like if you don't know what to do, it's like set a timer, right? Like you don't know, you one of those that that you just cannot remember. Just find a time, go multiple times a day. Whenever you go, let's say you're on the other side of the house and you go and take a glass. Don't go and take a glass and pour the water and bring it back. Just go and take a glass, bring the glass back. Go back and take the water, bring the water back. You're just gonna do a lot more unconscious movement. And again, it's not about that you have to go and walk outside, it's just about moving more. At the end, a step counts as steps. Last thing that I wanted to head in is those snacks workout, meaning like again, there you can do a bunch of jumping squats, you can do a bunch of like little push-ups, there's a lot of things. As long as you move your body around and you create some sort of resisting part training, it will help, right? So this is quite important. And this is about it. Like again, there is few. I mean, these are just a few of the um, tips that you should get, but it's about what you do with the tips. Honestly, it's really holiday is really what I just said. Like you just need to cross out the days that you cannot control, because you don't want to go into your you know family and then see, okay, how did you cook that, how many calories. No, it's just like, just use common sense. Protein first, vegetables second, carb at the end, and then the dessert, either carb or dessert. Even if you choose this carb or dessert is better. Move more. Just this is basically it. You don't want to be orthorexic around food in those days. You want to be using specific. You just want to understand that you want to be creating a calorie deficit or keep it the same. Therefore, you know how much you're eating, right? If you eat usually in the evening and you eat usually in the lunch, chances are in the morning you can skip it, and the day after you can skip some of the meal, and then you go back to normal, right? This is very important. I thought I was gonna make like 3 days of this. I don't think it's necessary. Honestly, we could go a lot more in depth, but like much like I just said, those that are gonna take this video and are gonna apply it are gonna get results, much like those that would take 3 days. But again, um, why do 3 days if at the end of the day some people can just do something with 18 minutes, right? I think that's about it. So Coach Jerry here, I wish you an amazing holiday. If you have something for me, let me know. If not, Merry Christmas. I want to say a special thank you to some of my clients, that were very close to me in this period of time, which was hard. Claudia, and there was, Marcela, Karina, Pilar, and of course those that always post inside this group, which I highly, highly, highly appreciate it. Coach Jerry here. If you have something for me, let me know. I love you all. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Bye bye.